Good morning. This is your weather briefing for Sunday, September 28th for Western Long Island Sound. Again, today's forecast is brought to you by American Yacht Club for the Fall Regatta. So this morning we have a little bit of southwest gradient wind as a low pressure system to the south of us tracks off to the northeast and east and moves out of the region. So it brought some clouds this morning, and as it tracks off to the south or to the northeast this afternoon, those clouds have started to pull out as well. So skies are clearing, which is great news for the breeze as the gradient is able to mix down, and we're able to have some breeze behind this system. So expecting plenty of clear skies for pretty much the rest of the day. Looking at the observations here as of about 9:15 or so this morning, we've got generally south-southwest breeze, a little bit of southwest up here, closer to Stamford, and it's filled in pretty decently. This is probably the most breeze we're going to see for most of the day, is between kind of like right around 10 a.m. is the peak as it's mixing down. It will stay decently, breezy for the rest of the afternoon. There should be enough to get around the courses and such. We can kind of see the average of the models here for the rest of the afternoon are generally under 10 knots, although I do think that in the middle of the sound we'll see closer to 10 knots or so. That's a possibility. So the plan for the forecast the rest of today, let me back up here to the current time. So here we've got the southwest breeze. Like I said, it's mixing down. So here through 10, 11 a.m., it's kind of, getting a good surge going here for the next couple of hours. And then when we start to get daytime heating, things are going to change. So that's starting roughly around 12. Things are going to change just a little bit. And on the Connecticut shore, we're going to see backing and increasing. So that's a thermal effect, a thermal influence. So expect left shifting breeze, and it should be increasing, especially to the north and east of American. So, like similar to what I was saying yesterday, you just get stronger thermal effect from Greenwich and Stanford up. It's definitely on the lighter side in terms of thermal effect to the west and southwest. There should still be a little bit of southwest gradient coming through here. It just won't be able to get as strong as it does up here where there's more thermal effect. So up further to the northeast and east, we should see the breeze increasing to about 12 or 13 knots if you're up closer to Stamford, more like 8 or 9 if you're further south and west. So that's Connecticut shore. And then the Long Island side will be lighter and further right as the breeze kind of curves around a little bit more. And again, remember that the thermal effect on the Long Island side wants to veer the breeze, although it's not as strong of an influence as what we get on Connecticut. So the breeze is further right, it's a little bit lighter, and it's also shiftier. So I would expect that through some of these bays, you may see some big left shifts come through, especially if that, southwest gradient is kind of funneling up through here in Hempstead Bay and maybe even up near Oyster Bay. So possibly lefties like off the shoreline. And then once you get off into the water, it's a little bit further right and more, 230, 240s, something like that. So just a little bit more of a shiftiness effect as the breeze kind of follows the geography a little bit more. So you may get some shifts and some up and down things happening there. As the afternoon goes on, it will get just a little bit kind of lighter when we get after 3 o'clock. Again, we kind of are starting to lose some of that heating. And today the gradient is more of a west and northwest as we see happening over the land here. So that is going to start to try to push back into the bay in the late part of the afternoon. So we see that especially western side, it's starting to decrease quite a lot. Maybe even a little bit of northwesterly starting to fill further to the south and west here down by New Rochelle. And then further up towards Greenwich and Stanford, the sea breeze continues. This is for around 4 p.m. Now, once we get to 5 and 6, it starts to want to transition back into the northwesterly. It won't be able to until probably after 6, but it is starting to cause the sea breeze to decrease, basically. So that wind gets really light then 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and then eventually we may get the southerly from the ocean come in very late. But I'm not expecting that to be kind of during the typical race hours for today. So, taking a look at the forecast table I put together, I followed pretty close to the HRR, did take a look at the 2 kilometer wharf model, tweaked it just a little bit. But here at 10, we've got clouds clearing. Breeze, again, is kind of near the upper end for the day here between 10 and 11. Starts to decrease just a little bit midday, 12 and 1, but it's still a good 5 to 10 knots. And that's when the backing starts, the heating effect, backing and increasing on the Connecticut side. Peaking, if you're further north and east, around 12, 13 knots, around 2 to 3 p.m. That's kind of peak heating for the day. That's when we'll see our strongest breeze in terms of afternoon breeze. And then, of course, on the Long Island side, just generally lighter further right. You may see 250s, 260s, 270s, and lighter at times with stronger breeze coming from the left and lefties possible coming through the bays a little bit. And then after 4, generally winds decreasing, and we start to think about maybe that northwest trying to take over, but probably not until after 6 o'clock. Pretty good confidence today. The timing of all this, could be off by maybe an hour either side, but in general, high confidence with the models in good agreement. And then areas further west into the sound, as I mentioned, would be towards the lower end of the range or maybe even a little lighter. And then if you're further east and north, you're going to have winds towards the upper end of the range and a little bit stronger. So hopefully you guys have a great day of racing today. Good luck and have fun. Talk to you later.